welcome. In this video, I want to respond to the phrase or term training without conflict. And again, this goes into play-based training, okay? But the term itself, okay? And again, this is where I talk about defining what training is, okay? Based on a dog owner experiencing a relationship problem with their dog. And again, this goes right into this issue about what is the focus, okay? What is, how is a relationship problem, how is that engaged? And again, taking this over to the parenting example, because again, this is a very useful example to go by. I talk about the problems, okay, why a counterfeit picture is set in motion, okay, for so many dogs and owners within the framework of response itself. But when I use the example of the parent and selfish child, here's the question you need to ask yourself, okay, when again you use this example, is there conflict, okay, happening when a parent is experiencing a relationship problem with their child? Absolutely. Okay, there's already conflict, okay, happening. That's the point. You talk about, behavioral problems, right? There's conflict, okay? There's conflict happening, and that's the point of actually even needing help, okay, to begin with. But at the level of engagement, okay, by way of the roles, by way of the parent, who's engaging a relationship problem, ask the question: is there going to be more conflict? Okay, in terms of the roles, in terms of establishing, okay, a right relationship and the attitude of the child. And again, you look at the roles themselves in terms of moving from the permissive to authoritative parenting style. Is there going to be a level of pushback from the child, conflict, not liking? Absolutely. Okay, there's going to be conflict. So the red flags, I talk about the dog training world, okay, in terms of engagement, in terms of a counterfeit picture, there's red flags all over the place, okay, in terms of certain approaches, engagement, what the focus is on. I talk about this whole thing about appearances, right? Response, the core ingredients I talk about being reconciled at the social level. But when you hear terms being used by trainers, right away there's a problem. Okay, understand that, their idea about what defines a process, what defines training itself based on relationship problem doesn't even line up. And so, but again, this goes in this whole thing about what's happening in the dog training community. I talk about you can be very successful with your own personal dogs and some people. I talk about these relationship dynamics, how they align. But in terms of actually understanding what the core issue is, and why so many people are struggling in their relationships, and whether a particular approach is going to actually reconcile those core ingredients, well, those are the questions people need to really consider and ask of themselves. Okay, what's going on? So again, red flags everywhere. So when you hear certain terms right away, you should immediately know there's something is wrong, okay, right away, in terms of certain terms and certain approaches. And again, the reason why so many people end up with a counterfeit picture of change. Thanks for watching.